Okay, thank you guys. We are the Barn Boys. We're grateful to speak in front of all of you guys today. We kind of go over our proposal as a team. I'm Michael Grant, and we got
Johnny Collier.
I'm Andrew Davies.
I'm Sam Olson.
Yeah. So thank you, I Dig Nauvoo and Bob for giving us the time to speak to you.
So first we wanted to go over what we understand this project to be about, what the project is for. The project is to build a barn. The barn will be a masonry barn used for gatherings for the I Dig Nauvoo community, as well as the people of Nauvoo. This barn will be, it's not designated as a historical landmark, but it will be a replica of Joseph Smith's barn from the early 1800s in Nauvoo. Joseph Smith being one of the original prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He has familiar ties to Nauvoo, and the barn will be used for family reunions and such for the Smith family, as well as the I Dig Nauvoo community. The barn will consist of masonry walls, as well as a wood rafter roof, and in the basement will be a storm shelter. This storm shelter will be basically a concrete box that will be able to also be used by the community in times of storm because of the severe weather that does take place in Nauvoo. The end goal of this project, what we hope to deliver to you, is a finished product. While we ourselves cannot stamp a plan, we don't have the expertise or the legal ability to give you a stamp plan that can be used directly for construction. Our goal is to give you a set of drawings that can be used to be reviewed by an engineer that can then stamp the plan to possibly use for construction. We will provide a full set of drawings that will include the structural elements of the barn, as well as calculations that go with the drawings to justify our claims as to the members that can be used and the materials that can be used for this barn. Along with drawings and calculations for the capstone project, we will also provide a draft and report and a poster and presentation for the capstone team that will be as part of our capstone assignment for our class.
Awesome. So with those deliverables, we kind of want to dive in more to the task that we'll have at hand for the next couple months. And so I'll get it started by talking about the calculations. So with this barn, we know that there's going to be lots of different loads and things we're going to have to calculate. And specifically going into loads, we know what we know is dead and live loads. And for those that have maybe studied a little bit in structures, we know that dead loads are more of the permanent parts of the structure, so that would be the materials and everything used as a part of the building. Whereas the live loads consist more of the people, the furniture, everything that could kind of be moved in and out of the structure itself. And with that, we want to be careful because on the bottom we're going to have a storm shelter, and so we want to be able to calculate it in a way that will allow us to still have that shelter there, kind of in the basement area. And as well as dead and live loads, we have different things like snow and wind loads. So last year in Nauvoo, there was actually a huge windstorm of winds of over 100 miles per hour. So that's something we're definitely gonna need to kind of take a look at. Our wind loads, and also they average 20 to 30 inches of snow every year. So we're gonna wanna look at the impact of snow, and we'll do this using different safety factors provided in the local code of Nauvoo. And yeah, that kind of wraps it up on calculations.
Yep, so once we calculate all the loads that are acting on the barn, we need to size out all the materials necessary for adequate construction. You know, the barn's gonna have all these loads acting on it, and we need to make sure that we use the right materials so that it stays standing. And to detail that out, we're going to provide a full set of structural drawings. This is just a picture that looks like what a roof framing plan might look like. So these structural plans will have each level of the structure We're gonna have a foundation plan, a main floor shear wall plan, an upper floor framing plan, and a roof framing plan. So the barn's just 1 story with a basement acting as a storm shelter, masonry walls, an attic space, and a wood rafter roof. And so everything the contractor needs to know to build the structure will be called out and detailed on the structural plans. As far as other things that might go into the structural plans, we're gonna have detail sheets. So certain connections that might need to be further detailed will have their own sheets. So like if we need to detail out the roof connecting to the walls, you know, we're gonna tell you how many nails you need to connect that, and the types of clips and other things that ensure a proper load path and proper construction.
All right, and so next up we have kind of a schedule prepared for what we expect to do for you guys for this project. And as you can see, we've divided that out into 4 different sections. For our meetings, we're going to be meeting constantly amongst ourselves, with the other capstone groups, and then also with Done Engineering. And then we also have the drawings, the calculations, and the deliverables. And our rough plan is, obviously most of the calculations need to be done before the drawings, but as 2 of us mainly will be focused on calculations and 2 of us will be mostly doing the drawings, we're going to try and knock out calculations kind of step at a time, and then that will allow different sections of the drawings to get done. So as you can see, over the next 3.5 months or so, we're hoping to have those done. And then our deliverables, most of those will be compiling at the end. We'll have some checkup kind of midway through that semester of the project. But the goal is to get most of those done in that last month or so, once we've really had time to calculate it out, make sure we've whittled out all the errors, and we've just made everything super efficient in that way. Our team for this project is the 4 of us, as we mentioned, and then we also have 3 different sub-consultants we're working with for you guys. And I'm sure you know, we have Phil Miller at Dunn in the middle there. He is the professional engineer that's teaching us and making sure we're doing everything to the standard of high quality engineering. As we are students, we're not as qualified as a professional engineer, but he'll make sure that what we're doing is on track with what would be expected for this barn project. We also have an architect, as we are not qualified in that area, at Wavetronics, Scott Jensen, who's great. He's been working on the drawings. We're working with him for that. And then as far as through BYU, we have a faculty member, Taylor Sorensen, who's been able to help us and guide us in that way. So we have a lot of resources there. As we are inexperienced students, we won't be able to do everything. We can rely on them some as well. And while we are inexperienced, we have had a handful of classes that do help with this kind of stuff. A lot of different focus on structures and steel and wood. And as this building has concrete at the bottom and then masonry on the outside and wood for the beams and for the roof, there's a lot of different elements there. So the fact that we've recently been through some of these classes gives us a little bit more of a versatile experience there. We'll be able to touch on a little bit of each of those as we work on the project. And with that, we're also, each one of us has a couple individual qualifications we'll introduce about ourselves.
Yeah, so myself, I have nearly 5 years of experience in acute engineering with structural engineering plans and drawings and calculations. I believe that this can help provide some extra knowledge and expertise in how to put together a plan, as well as how to give a structural calculations report. And I've also, through this class, done research on the structural loads of the area, as well as the codes used in Knoxville, Illinois. And so that, I believe, can help us in our goal as we give you this capstone project.
And myself, I have a 1.5 years of experience as a structural engineer at Acute Engineering as well. With that, I have a lot of experience in engineering residential homes, my primary responsibility was to do a structural analysis of those homes and provide a full set of structural drawings. So a lot of that can translate into this project we're doing for you guys. And within this class, I've done some research on the structural properties of wood. There being a wood rafter roof here, I can also translate that knowledge into engineering that aspect of the barn.
So I spent 12 or 13 months out at Boyz Engineering in Midvale, and I mostly spent my time in the transportation department, but also got some good experience in AutoCAD and Revit with the structural and site civil departments there. So I think that could be something beneficial to the team, just to add on to their experience. I also have a little over 2 years of commercial real estate development experience. So kind of similar to what you guys are doing here in Nauvoo. I've seen this process be done in other forms throughout the country. So I kind of understand the timeline and the constraints that you have. So I think that's something beneficial that I can bring to you guys. And over the last couple months, I focused my research on masonry design, which is a big part of our project here with the Nauvoo barn, and I think that'll be something useful to add the different codes and things I learned from masonry. I can apply it to the project that we have at hand.
Awesome. And yeah, as for me, I've spent the past year and a half or so working for an engineering firm that is mostly traffic and transportation related, but I've had a lot of experience working through different codes and processes there. Some structural, but most other kind, but a lot of that will help just in the process of we're going to be looking through codes to do a lot of these calculations. And I also, for this class, had studied concrete, and I'll be able to help with a lot of the properties there as we're trying to figure out what types of concrete to use. But we are super excited to work for this project, so we're grateful, we're ready to do it.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
12:20.
Whoa, I thought we didn't make it, so that's good.